Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome to Timely Wisdom. Thank you all so very much for joining us on today. I'm very excited about today. But first, we're going to do some check-ins around we're going to do some check-ins. So we're going to start with you, Dr. Wallace, and then we'll hear from you, Dr. Bradford and Dr. Wright, and I'll come back to myself.
Hello, everyone. I'm thankful and grateful that you have joined us today. The unfortunate news in Georgia is that COVID cases have increased. There have been like 2,000 deaths, like 20, almost 3,000 deaths, 2,700 deaths since Friday. On last Friday was the total. The highest county is Gwinnett County, which is where I would have thought would have been in Fulton County based on the Black Lives Matter movement that people were not social distancing. However, the news reports are that the most cases are in nursing homes and in rehabs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So that's what's going on in Georgia. In Atlanta, the mayor is a powerful Black woman that is elected, and we are grateful for her leadership in the metro Atlanta and particularly in Atlanta proper.
Well, hello, everybody. Here in Dallas, Texas, some of the same things. We have a spike in the COVID-19 cases. But this week we're focusing on Juneteenth. We're going into Juneteenth, and Friday we're going to do a celebration. Of course, we're still feeding not just the homeless, the hungry. And we're wanting to make sure that everybody is doing what they need to do. But this week, we want to have a celebration and bring awareness to what's going on. Why do we have Juneteenth? Why are we celebrating? And things of that nature. Of course, everything is going on around us, but this week, we're going to celebrate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hello and greetings from Kansas City, Missouri. Unfortunately, our report is very similar to both of you in that COVID has also spiked here. And our prayer is that those that are on the front line continue their due diligence, working as hard as they have. We're praying for them, praying for their families as well. So that we can find a way to manage life in this time. And we yet have protests that are continuing. The report pretty much remains the same. And, when people are tired, they're gonna come back. So we're praying for you and you pray for us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Dr. Bradford pretty much summed where we are in the Dallas area. Our numbers are going up and up and up, and our governor spoke on today. He doesn't seem to be, he said, concerned about anything. We still have enough hospital beds and all of this kind of stuff going on. But we've been in Dallas County, we've been over 300 now, I think, for about 5 or 6 days. When we begin to let up on things, I think our numbers were like 80, 90, maybe 100, but it skyrocketed from there. And so we got a lot of work that needs to be done, and we have to be intentional about this work. Do want to give a shout out to those who've already kind of let us know that they're here. Hello, Jackie Marie Harris and Natalie. We will keep you in prayer in regard to that, and Rosa and Mary Spinello and Annette Wilson. So thank you for those of you all who checked in. Those of you who are here, just hit that share button, whether you're watching us on YouTube or whether you're watching us on Facebook. Come and share this, because what we're talking about today, it is important. It is important. We are very, very happy. Yes.
I think it's important that we highlight one of the things that one of our viewers is saying. Yes, we're praying for her anxiety level is high, really high. And that's the sentiment of a lot of the people that are going back to work. one of our viewers is saying, yes, we're praying for her. So we're definitely praying for you, Natalie. Be encouraged, for the Lord is with you.
Thank you for that. Very excited about today. We look at the protest, and those who know me, they've heard me say this, that protest without purpose and without voting, it becomes meaningless, because essentially what people do is that they kind of figure they can wait you out. I am very emboldened by these protests so far. I think they're in day number 21. They've not let up, but still at some point, what is going to happen when these protests are over? We have to use the power we have at the ballot box. We have to be able to vote, and then not just be able to vote, but we need to vote. But then so many times our candidates don't get into office because we've not put any money behind them. We hear about all the lobbyists and all these other things that are happening, and then we want to complain after the fact. But we have to put some of our money in the right places behind the candidates. And so I'm very, very excited today to bring to us a timely wisdom. We want to talk politics just a little bit on today, be able to discuss that. We are lucky that we were able to fit ourselves into her schedule. We have with us Mrs. Tracy Scott. She is the founder of the Black Women's Pack of Texas. Come on, hit those heart buttons, hit those heart buttons, hit those heart buttons for her, for Ms. Tracy Scott. And so let us hear from you, Ms. Scott. What do you have to say to us in this time?
Well, first I say thank you very much. It is definitely an honor to be a part of this platform and to be able to have this conversation amongst Black women and our allies, and be able to just, honestly speak and talk about, where we are today and how important it is. And yes, so thank you very much. So I wanted to, let me start like this, is you introduced about the protest, and you talk about, there are a lot of young people out in the streets protesting, and, there might be young people listening and on this call. However, older people, we're not protesters. We're not going to go out there. We're not hitting the streets. That's not our thing. That's a young people's game. Where we fall in supporting protesters. So if they want action, we support that action. So again, with the Black Women's PAC, which is a political action committee to help elect more Black women to public office and to build political infrastructure in the state of Texas. And political infrastructure, let me just give you a brief explanation, is that can come in a number of ways. So that is more minorities in legislative offices as staff, that are more minorities that are managing campaigns and are fundraisers throughout the state. And then that is also educating voters. That's political infrastructure, which we have a accolade that is often given to us, that Black women are the, bone of the Democratic Party, the backbone of the Democratic Party, and we vote the best. And, if you really look at politics on a larger scale, that's like a pat on the head. That's like, oh, you guys are so great, ooh, go. But that doesn't give you any access.
Wow.
That's not putting you in the room. That's not putting you in the game. That's just saying you go to the ballot box a lot, and then we're still short in that area. So we really have to look beyond the accolade that is, being given to us, because it, as strong as we are and as great as that is, it's petty. I mean, it's just, and I don't mean to, and please don't get me wrong. I don't belittle it. I don't belittle it at all, because it is very important to vote. And that is our strength. And we believe in that process. But we have got to move beyond that piece. We've got to move beyond, my grandparents and my ancestors fought for the right to vote.
Right.
Okay, so we have that right. But what we now also have is we also have money. So a political action committee is an organization that pulls money together that invests in politics. It can be an initiative or it can be a candidate. And Black people, we have the most need to fund initiatives. We're the ones looking for healthcare and we're the double wage gap. So we're getting paid twice as less than white men and less than white women. So we should be funding something about employment, about education. We have the highest level of student loan debt because we're out there trying to make it, trying to be equal, trying to be a part of the system, but then we're weighed down with debt because we're, again, double wage gap. So you're still not making enough money to be able to pay off the student loans that you're really trying to get involved with and trying to get ahead. We're single parent families, you know, Black men by, you know, just leaps. We don't even want to talk about that really seriously. That's a whole nother avenue, but we know how many are incarcerated and how many have been incarcerated over the years. So our families are broken. So we are the people to invest in criminal justice reform. We should be investing in candidates that are going to address our issues specifically. And that goes beyond voting, because actually voting, how many do you have to vote for that actually say they are going to address your issue and have had your experience? Because there are many candidates out there that are your friend. And there are a lot of candidates out there that really want to do well by you. But have they had your experience? When they sit in the room and where the legislation is being made, can they say, but wait, this is what really happens. You know, this is how we really are in the community. This is why, you know, and please excuse the stereotypical name, but this is why Ray Ray and Junior and, you know, Big Bub, this is why they don't have jobs. This is why they were arrested. And somebody has to be there, and we have to invest in people to be there. That's how candidates are elected. Funding campaigns. That money doesn't appear out of the sky.
Say that.
So, I mean, I know I've talked a lot, but my example is, there's a candidate that has $36,000 in their campaign fund. Now, granted, to run a campaign in a small town, $15,000, $20,000, okay. In a larger town is $100,000, $150,000, $300,000, depending upon what you're running for, and you could get up to $700,000 to $1 million campaign easily. Okay, so now Black woman gets elected. Black woman's been in office. Let's say the cycle is a 2-year cycle. She's been there 4 years. She still has $36,000 because she's won, raised, paid some off. Now she's raised again. White woman comes in office. White woman jumps in office in the door. She's got 50 grand starting off, without a doubt. Let's say 2 years from now, she's got 70. 2 years from now, she's got 90. Where do you think the Black woman is still at? This is a real case scenario. $36,000. 36. That number ain't changed. It's gone down to 32.
Wow.
It may have gone up to 37, but we sure haven't hit 40. Because we're always looking for money from someplace else.
Wow.
So now let me just say it, you know, even more plain. You gonna give to your kids' soccer team, or you gonna give to their kids' soccer team?
Wow.
And if you give to their kids' soccer team, is it equal to what you gave to your kids' soccer team? Because you're investing in your community, you're investing in your space. So what we don't get, what we are just totally, we want to buy things to make us look good,
Mama.
but we still don't have political power. Those things don't give us power. Those things only make you look. That's like parking a Mercedes outside your mama's house and you live in the basement. So you really gotta, I mean, we really gotta take a real serious, hard look at this, because our window is short.
Girl.
I'm just saying. You know, we're gonna be alive a long time, but our window of political power, I wouldn't start looking way down the line for that. I just, you know, we need to play now. Now is the time that Black people are out on the streets. Now is the time that Black women want to run by leaps and bounds. There's campaign schools going everywhere. Everybody's interested in what Black people want to do because they want to help sincerely or they need to help sincerely.
Well,
and either one works. So I'm not quite sure if that's what you asked me or not, but that's my soapbox. So I'm open to questions. I'm open to, you know, kind of, you know, I don't know, being able to have this conversation. And if there's anything I said that you want me, you know, to elaborate on, I can. But
Ms. Scott, I can affirm in the state of Georgia, Loeffner has $16 million. Paul Warnock, pastor of the historic Ebenezer, does not have nearly that much, even though they're running neck and neck.
Mhm.
But we have to give, and we need to sacrifice. We've sacrificed before. We save pennies to start colleges and universities.
Right.
We have got to go back to that, even if
Yes.
it's a penny. I noticed on your
Yes.
page you have donations as low as $20.20.
Yes. It still adds up. I mean,
Mm.
I have two women that send me $5 a month, that has sent me $5 a month since the Black Women Pact started in January of 2018.
Wow.
That adds up. That's
It
commitment.
does. That's
I mean,
right.
honestly, I mean,
Mhm.
that kind of, I mean,
Mhm.
really?
Mhm.
$5 a
Mhm.
month since the beginning.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I
That's
mean,
all.
that pays for mailing, that pays for, you know, running an ad on Facebook, that pays for the constant contact,
Mhm.
you know, that pays for an intern. There are so many things that are involved in trying to get the message out that we just overlook and take for granted. That mail does not hit your mailbox and it for free.
Mhm.
And politics are not dirty. Everything we do is politically connected. The pillow you sleep on is legislation.
That's
The
right.
tires you drive is legislation.
You're
You're
right.
right. You are
Everything is
right.
legislative. It's regulated. All of it. The school your kids go to. I mean, it's just
That's right.
every piece of that. What book they read. We are not conscious of the fact that politics, whether you like it, is dirty or whatever, it's your life.
It is.
Right.
It's straight your life.
Mhm.
You don't move without a political action having been made. That's not true. You just don't. How the tax you pay,
Mhm.
you don't move without legislation. So
Yeah.
we just really need to be conscious of how intense, how important, and how intertwined that is. And you know, when you start looking at some Black man jogging down the street and he gets shot, he gets hunted, shot, and then the DA still does not do anything about it, keeps it quiet, and you have video.
Mm.
So now, who elected the DA? Do you understand that you elect the DA?
Mhm.
Do you understand that if some Black man steps up and wants to run against the DA who has no money because what? We don't make as much money as white folks do.
Mm-hmm.
So that means collectively, we all have to get together and we have to support that young man. We have to support that old man, whoever it is running.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Qualified candidates deserve to be supported by your
Right.
community.
Right.
Because if you don't come with your own people, you got somebody new come in your circle.
Wow.
They come with no friends.
Wow.
That's
Mm.
Where
right.
your friends at?
Mm.
How come you don't have nobody you hang around already?
Love it.
So if you don't bring people with you, then I'm not sure I can trust you. Nobody's vouching for you.
Exactly.
We have to vouch for our candidates.
Exactly.
Mhm.
People have to know that if you come for so and so, we're coming for you.
Oh.
Mm.
And you just have to. I mean, that's how it's played. Do you?
Right.
If we just
I
look at
think
ourselves,
we need some education on how to play the game of politics.
Oh.
yeah,
There's a game being played, and many of us are oblivious
hmm
to the game. And it
yes,
took me about 40 years to realize it was a game because I never played team sport.
hmm
I was a bookworm. So I even though I read, it didn't make sense to me because the politics did not make sense.
Well, the politics don't make sense because there's no one in the room representing you.
Mm.
So things are happening that you wish, hope, want, dream. People have said they would, promise, but they do the best they can with what they have.
Right.
So if they don't have it to give to you on the level in which you need, you can't fault that.
Hmm.
That's an individual. What
Wow.
you can fault is the person you say, but you look like me. You live next door to me. We sat up and represented you and funded your campaign and knocked on doors. We gave to you. We put your mail out. We went to the ballot box and voted for you. Now, I can come to you, Regina, and I can say, wait, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because I expect you to do better.
Right.
Yes.
And that's just having your own. And that's just how other cultures walk up to their, really?
Absolutely.
I mean, there are stories of, elected officials who have books that sit on their desk of all the contributors that gave to their campaign.
Wow.
And if you ain't in that book, your meeting don't get had. So I don't care what you want. It doesn't matter. That's the game that's being played.
Ms. Scott, there might be somebody who's saying that they heard it say, "Oh, it's just 2020. Somebody gives $5," but where do they go? How do they find this information about the Black Women's PAC?
Oh, Black Women's PAC, tx.org. All of the words are spelled out except for TX, which is Texas. So Black Women's PAC, PAC, tx.org. And just to be, because the question came up too about going national, being a national PAC, being larger and outside of the state of Texas. That is definitely possible. I mean, I guess the vision for the Black Women's PAC would be to do that. There is a Black Women's PAC in Cleveland, Ohio, or in the state of Ohio, and they are a federal PAC, but they only deal in the Cuyahoga County area. But just to give a background of the strength of being Black women and having a PAC. So not knowing that they existed prior to starting the Black Women's PAC, but finding out like within days of starting it, someone called me and thought I was them. So yeah, and you're like, who? What? No. But so 35 years. In 2018, they celebrated their 35th anniversary. They've been around for 35 years.
Wow.
They are nonpartisan, but you must be for the Black community. And then they have an accountability committee. So how you vote, they monitor.
I love it.
They watch. And don't vote like you're supposed to. You get yanked.
Wow.
No more funding.
That's real.
No more. No, you are called out for not holding up your end of the bargain.
That's power.
If you've seen the YouTube video, the young lady that, stands out and is like, the contract was broken. If you break your contract with us, you can't come back by us.
Breach of contract.
That's how it's played, though. Yeah. You don't expect to do that. We don't expect to.
Wow.
So, I mean, we have really got to look at this. And there are national PACs. There's Collective PAC, which is a national PAC. And being national means that you can, fundraise and you can elevate federal campaigns. And that's basically what that says. Because as a state PAC, as long as it's not a federal campaign, I mean, you could give to other states and other cities and, that kind of thing, but not federal campaigns. That's a different accounting. That's a different accountability to be able to contribute to. Say it again.
We have a question, Ms. Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess, a question. Please help us understand that we have to begin giving where we are. We don't need millions to start.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's really true. People win campaigns, like you were discussing in Georgia. The reverend does not have as much money as the incumbent or the challenger, but people still win because right is right. And if people are willing to vote for the candidate that is best suited for the position, the money, but you have to have money. You can't not have any. Your message has to get out. You have to look a certain way. Just like we buy all of this stuff to look great to go to work because we have to look a certain way, candidates do too.
Right.
Even for you.
That's
this
right.
guy could be absolutely great, but if you dress like, XYZ, you can't go to office representing me look like that. I mean, that's just truth.
That's real.
That's just truth.
That's real.
So you have, and candidates have to be comfortable to be able to do that. And candidates cannot be concerned, and I've done this on campaigns before, candidates cannot be concerned with how much money they have. They cannot be concerned and bogged down. It's just like you having to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And you go to work, take care of your kids, worry about your bills, and be effective at those things. Your full concentration is not there.
That's right.
And you want somebody who is able to take the time to learn the issues, to learn the legislation, to learn how the system works, to make the relationships, and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, I didn't raise $3,000 this week, so I don't know if the campaign's going to exist tomorrow.
Wow.
Or I can't pay Lucy, I can't pay Betty, and I don't know if they're going to still come and volunteer. We've got this office space, but we don't really have enough paper, or we can't get the printing done, or that kind of, that bogs people down. I mean, it bogs you down in your own life.
Yes.
But you're asking for somebody to go to an office in the state of Texas. A state representative earns like $7,000 a year. So you have to have your own business.
Wow.
Or you have to, be financially comfortable to do so. Yes, ma'am. $7,000.
We
Yes.
have Dr.
So
go ahead.
yeah, but when you're in office, I mean, you are fully committed to doing that. So you have stepped away from your life to be in office and to commit to doing that. And you're asking them to do that and worry about how they going to, I got to worry about representing you, how I'm going to represent you, how good I'm going to look while I represent you.
Yeah.
And where are you?
Yeah.
Wow. Who are you? Who are you to take advantage of that, to disrespect that?
Wow.
So, okay, that's it.
Well, no, Dr. Carlisle just noted, Shirley Chisholm said, you don't make progress by standing on the sideline. This also includes standing on the sidelines with your money.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
that
good.
left me speechless. Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Jasmine Christian says, corporations that we work for encourage us to give voluntarily, have individual meetings to get you to give something to their PAC. And we know our corporations support white Republicans.
That's right. That is so true. And when I worked for AT&T Bell South, if you were in management, you were not only strongly encouraged, but you could be blackballed for not participating in a PAC, in their PAC, that they tried to make you believe it was for the telephone company that you work for.
Oh, wow.
So how important is legislation? How important? It's everything we do. Every place you go, everything you do. When you get mad at the police chief, that person was hired by the city manager or was hired by the mayor and council. The mayor and council hire the city manager. We have power.
Right.
When we talk about voting, when we talk about funding candidates, we've got to start being serious about this. And qualified candidates, because, and let me just be very, very clear. Some people want to run, and that is so great. But do you have the time? Do you have the temperament? Do you have the understanding? Have you ever been in DC before you start running for Congress? You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
Exactly.
wait, ouch. Wait,
I just want us to be real clear.
Say that again. Please say that again.
Have you ever been to DC before you start running for Congress?
Oh my God.
I mean, I really want us to see. I mean, this is just serious. I mean, this is very, very serious because it's serious business. This is not a popularity contest. This isn't, oh, you want to help your people. You can be a community leader. You can run a lunchbox situation. You can do a bunch of stuff, but Congress might not be your space.
Right.
So let's be serious about this.
I need to slow you down because I need to hear you say this one more time. Retta McCoy just asked for it. They need the time,
the temperament.
Yes. And if you want to run for something,
and the ability, you have to have the ability.
Okay.
These are numbers. I mean, these are billions of dollars we're talking about. This is going to DC to represent you, and you are part. This is the world. This is the United States of America.
My God.
Let's be serious about that, please. This is not no. And don't get offended when somebody says no. Don't be offended. Why would you? Okay.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Don't be offended, please.
Makes me think.
Just reflective. Be reflective. Don't be offended. Reflect back.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. Be reflective, not offended.
Yes. And it could be not your time. I mean, not to say 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, but just have some background. Have some understanding of where you're going. Be able to have a conversation when there's a debate, and be able to talk about what you're going to do when you're in office.
Yes.
You can't talk about things that state reps do when you're running for Congress.
Ooh.
You
Miss
know,
Scott, Miss Scott,
Myself.
I just had this question come up from a Mrs. Nancy Wallace, and she wants to kind of hear about political mentor. What is that? And you're talking about going to DC. What does that mean about having a political mentor?
so what one of the things that the Black Women's PAC is really trying to stress to elected officials is to start mentoring. Our pool is shallow, which allows for, you know, in my opinion, it allows for people to jump up and run who are not honestly qualified.
Mhm.
But if we create the pool, if we create people that are in line, that have, you know, and we have a succession plan,
Mm.
Oh,
then you are then, you know, filling the void, and you're not, you know, then it looks like there is something in place that, you know, I just can't jump up and raise my hand and, oh, I'm gonna do it. No, no, no. You know that there's a plan in place.
Trained.
You know, there's trained people. There is somebody who is taking, you've taken someone under your wing. You know, they travel, they go to the conferences, they are in, you know, they have built relationships. You know, it's people running who don't know anything about where they're going and have no relationships. So when you get to the party and you know no one, how is that going to work out for you? Because you don't immediately get put in. I mean, this is a, you know, it's a click already happening.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
immediately, you know, everybody wants to know who you are. Somebody's got to co-sign for you. Again,
Right.
you can't come to my party with no friends.
That's true.
And no money.
Wait a minute.
And no
And no
money.
money. Help.
That's
See
right.
there.
That's what
See
I'm
there?
talking about.
Thank you very
Friends
much.
and
Yes.
money.
Okay. See there, Brenda Perry Wallace. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
One of the viewers, she's saying somebody needs to tell people that as they prepare, Tammy Daigle is saying this, getting prepared takes knowledge on multiple levels, pulling some coattails.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
And humble yourself.
Mm.
My God.
People have to humble themselves. I mean, just really, and so I'm going to use this example, and this is not this is a good example and a bad example at the same time, because I'm not speaking on anybody who's running now, who has the thought of running or anything like that. But this is what was my experience. So we have a congresswoman here in Texas that is been in Congress for quite some time. And so now there's an opponent that this was last cycle. She had an opponent, and I go to this community forum, and I didn't know that she was going to be there. So anyway, her opponent gets introduced, and she's sitting there and she's looking. So then they introduce her. And then the opponent gets ready to sit down. She said, "Oh, no, don't sit down. Come on up here and tell me who you are, because I've never seen you before."
Oops.
So and she said, "You're coming for the top. So if you're coming for the top, you need to know where you're going and who you coming for."
Oops.
I'm not mad at that. I'm really not.
That's
I'm not
bad.
mad at that.
That's true. And guess
So,
what? I'm gunning for you.
yes.
That's the translation.
Yeah. You
I'm
coming.
gunning for you.
Yeah.
Now
You
that I know
coming
you
here.
better.
I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. Where did you come from? So that kind of thing. It's that kind of, you know, you have got to pull coattails, build relationships. I mean, we have got to start saying the honest truth, because again, we don't have a lot of time.
Wow.
We're playing this game like we got a whole lot of time, like life gonna go on. We don't know. Look at COVID. That just threw us way off our game. Unexpected. But we really have got to start taking this seriously and not, you know, play. This is not a game. It's not a game at all. Politics is real. Politics is hard. It's a choice. And people who choose, you should respect, because it's not for everybody.
We want to hear from you, our viewers as well. If you have questions for Ms. Scott, this is the time to ask these questions. And while we're seeing if they have questions that they're bringing to you, I want you to be able to say again around the financial part. how can someone be supportive of the Black Women's PAC?
So support looks, you know, of course, like money, but it also looks like resources. If you have a talent, if you are digital, if you are administrative, I mean, if you are a PR person, you're a marketing person, you know, if you like going to a community events on a regular basis, there are things that you do in your everyday life that you can loan to the Black Women's PAC as an in-kind contribution. And you know, it goes on record, you know, what your time is, how much that was spent, and that counts as a contribution to the Black Women's PAC. Of course, fundraising. Fundraising goes to, you know, social media campaigns. Again, constant contact. And I'll tell you, constant contacts cost me like 133. And I say me because Black Women's PAC is under my name, but you know, it costs $133 to $150 a month. So that's money you have to pull in. When you start running a social media campaign, that could be hundreds of dollars a month as well. But if you wanted to give the candidates, so if we all said, okay, we're going to give $100 a month, and we pick 3 candidates. So the 5 of us here, we're pulling in $500 a month. And if we did that for the next, 6 months, we have enough money to fund. We really have good money to do something well for a candidate.
Right.
And then those candidates will say, look what you have done to get me here.
Let me see. You said $100. Now I'm trying to figure out, I know that I haven't been able to get my nails done. I haven't been able to go and get some other stuff I would do just beauty wise. But I'm just thinking, just the amount of money that many of us have spent on nails, right? And so let's see. Now, very few of us get just what we call basic manicure. We get either gel nail, we get powder, next chin. Come on, somebody. And so when we finish with that, and hopefully you tip it. Some of you getting lashes done, hair extensions, all of these things. But yet you've already said that all of these things that we're purchasing all happens because of some kind of legislation.
That's right.
Everything. And so that means then that all of us got some money right now that we should have saved up if we kept our jobs during this crisis, correct? Okay, $100.
And even if we didn't,
let's not even talk about feet.
Oh, I did. I said nails. I forgot about my toes. I got to get my toes done too. I forgot about that.
Absolutely.
No, I forgot.
And that can be $100.
It's hot. I got to wear my sandals.
Yes,
that's right.
So for me during this time, not being able to get my nails done and not getting a pedicure and not having to think about because I lost my job, so not having to think about the professional clothes that I had to come up with. I got a closet full of professional clothes that I haven't worn. So all of them are new. All of them are new. And how many do we really need? It's again that mindset of what we have to look like.
Wow.
And the pressure of what we have to look like to make it, to be greater, to be better, to be this. And we're not investing at home. Because if you look at people who really have dollars, they wear the same shit.
Oh, my kind of girl.
Same clothes. Because it don't matter. It doesn't matter how I show up because I can pay to be here. I can afford to be here.
Goodwill suits.
So it's just, I mean, we really have to really think about our finances. You know, when we talk about, economic justice, that is us too. Because we have money that we waste. The amount of money that I've saved in this time period, the amount of money that I have that I didn't even know I had because I was out there in the streets doing a bunch of who knows what now because I can't remember. But we really have to think about economic justice at home. Wow. We keep looking for we keep looking for them to do something for us, for reparations and for this and for that. And don't get me wrong, I believe in reparations. I think economic justice is reparations. But we still have our own accountability to ourselves. We still have our confidence.
Let me ask you this. I was on a I'll say this because it was public forum. The Democratic Party did this forum on last week, and they also had some community activists that were part of this. But one of the things that the community activists said to these elected officials, they weren't candidates, but elected officials, was that we don't know you. We only hear from you when it's time for us to vote. We don't know who you are, but yet what I'm hearing from you also right now is saying that part of the reason they might not know is because there's not even $2 that's going toward that campaign, and so they have to first respond to who is help funding that campaign. Just speak, just elaborate on that.
So you'd like for me, now I know you need, but you'd like for me to spend my gas, my time, pay my staff to come out and see you, to hear you tell me what you need. I already know what you need, but you want me to hear the story. So now, if you want somebody to hear your story, aren't you taking up their time? And don't get me wrong, being an elected official is a public servant. Please don't misunderstand that. It is, it's a public servant. It is selfless giving. It is often all of that, but please do not think that life is free.
Wow.
Life ain't free. Their time is not, your time is not free. You pick and choose when you're gonna go. If you're gonna get up and go take so-and-so to the store because they always asking. I mean, it's just, and it's honestly, really, we have really got to look at this as they are actually people who go to work every day and maintain a private life and deal in a room of, a lot of decisions that are being made on a level in which you will never understand, never be a part of. But it's intense, it's stressful, it's being ahead of the game, and you're Black. So you got to do better, do double, study harder, watch for the landmines and all of that kind of stuff. But again, and even if you give to somebody's campaign, please accept this. If you give to somebody's campaign, give freely. Give freely. You need something? Call somebody, but give freely. Don't expect back, because again, we're going to go back to that $36,000 and we're going to go back to that 70 and that 90 and that million that to stay in office you need, because that fights opponents. That gives you respect. You respect people with a lot of money, don't you? I mean, that's what we do. People who have money get respect, unless they're really, like assholes. But, other than that, you get respect.
You're my holy oil.
See, told you, Dr. Burns, told you. Nancy, see, you was right. See, the others led me astray. See,
Dr. Bradford.
Yes, Yasmin is saying we should know about supporting someone, because in most of our churches, when we have meetings in a location, we send with money because the delegate needs food, gas, and room when they get to these meetings.
That's right.
When she said that, we have to look at it from a different perspective, because we can get people's attention with church, some of them anyway. So when you're sending folks to meetings, you sending them with some money.
Right. Right.
So don't misunderstand the concept here. They can't go represent. They can't go represent you without any money.
Without any money.
So let's put this other hat on. Come on.
Right. Even at our level, if we're buying all of this stuff to go to work to look a certain way on our level, an elected official is going to work to look a certain way on a level that is completely different.
But Ms. Scott, let me ask you this, and I see we have another question came from Ms. Wallace for a moment, but I'm gonna ask you this: what about us good Black Christian church folk that we just say, "Oh, Jesus gonna fix it," and and this is just the Lord. We just need to pray, and God gonna fix it, and then we shouldn't worry about these politics. And what do you have to say to those Black Christians?
So I think faith without acts is no good, right? Something like that. Ain't that what it says?
Faith
That's
without
how it works.
Faith without works.
You got a lot of faith, but you ain't volunteering for a campaign. You're not actually doing good in your community. I mean, are you taking lunch for the kid who doesn't have any? I mean, let's really look at how we want other people to be accountable to the good Lord, and how accountable we are personally, and how God gonna fix it. I mean, God gonna fix it. Everybody in the Bible had to work, as best I know, and had to
Well,
put forth
and the
some
Bible
good.
said, "Man don't work, don't eat."
You got to do good. I mean, you have to. And we can even take Christian God. We can take all of that away. If everything you do is run by government and legislation, how come you don't want somebody in the room that is familiar to you? Why would you ever let some shit go down and ain't nobody in the room representing you? Why would you do that?
Why?
Why? Why would you allow that to happen? And then you want to complain about how people are not doing right by you and they don't understand you. They don't have to. What you have to do is get in the room. Don't nobody have to understand you if somebody in the room represents you. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
But it doesn't matter if Linda doesn't know you. It doesn't matter if Karen doesn't know you, if Karen don't understand you. Because if my sister's in the room, my sister understands. My sister speaks up. And my sister is funded and comfortable and confident and, there and know she's there. And if you come for me, they're coming for you. That's the kind of power. Because whites, you think white folks in the room thinking if you come for me, there ain't nobody coming for you? That's what we scared of. That's what we scared of. We scared they're gonna come for us.
Wow.
However, if there's enough of us, you come.
Come on.
They in the streets now. Them kids is in the streets now.
Absolutely.
Are they scared of somebody coming for them? No. Because what you gonna do? You gonna make it so I can't buy them shoes no more? You gonna make it so I can't buy my nails no more?
Wow.
You scared of how your life gonna turn, rather than how your future gonna look and how your kids' future gonna look.
That's a word right there.
That's disrespectful.
That's a word right there.
That's not cool.
One of the things I keep hearing, people have to be inspired to give. And when you're inspired to give, you're open to give more.
Yes.
Just like in the church, you're just gonna say, well, you got to give me money for this bill. No, that's between you and God. Okay, now how are you being represented? Now, if I have someone that I want to back and they're going to represent us well, they have the knowledge, they're well qualified, and they're talking the right talk, not just talking it, but they're living it. Oh yeah, I want to get behind that. And yes, I want to give my money. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
You have to be inspired to give.
Yes. And you can give directly to the candidate. Don't misunderstand me saying the Black Women's PAC is the only way to give. You can give directly to a candidate, but you should be giving $10, $5, $20, $100, $1,000. You got it.
Now I hear what you said. Just said that you said you can give directly to the candidate, but the Black Women's PAC. But the power of the PAC is this: different from a candidate. That if I give $10 to a candidate, it's just like, oh, okay, I just gave $10. But if I give $10 to the PAC, then when the PAC speaks, I know that the PAC that it will have that representative that candidate's ear, and that when the PAC speaks, it represents all of the means of $10, and this seems like this power.
Yes.
You got people with power in the room.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody should take a look at Empower Texas. Empower Texas is a Republican PAC. Empower Texas is a Republican PAC that has millions of dollars. You don't come for a candidate that's Empower Texas is given to.
Yeah, look at that.
Because those people are collectively together. And, Empower Texas, there's like maybe 3, maybe 6 people who give, and they have like 7, 8, 12, $20 million. And they're giving to candidates and funding campaigns and initiatives and all of that. And it is. Let me just say that. They fund and it is. Not possible. They fund and it is. So if you want it is for you, you better it is give it up. So
Kelsey?
that's just, that's the game. That's how it's played. That's what we're doing.
We have Kelsey. She says, then people get upset because they didn't get what they want for their community, but they refuse to support by voting.
Mm.
So in 2018, there's a number, it's a 200,000 number, 200,000 blah, blah, blah. Black women, registered voters, did not vote. Beto lost by 200,000 number. So just imagine if those 2,000 Black women had voted, and we had carried Beto over the line. Now Beto didn't, I no harm, no foul. But what would that have said? That's that. Oh, you guys vote. Oh, we vote, and we carried him through. You have power when you really achieve something. When you can really say specifically, this is where I did it. This is who I brought to the table. Now we vote willy-nilly now. You're just the strongest voting bloc. Now again, there's no Democratic president that has won without the Black women's vote carrying them through, and all of that great. That's still great, but all of them have gone to office, and we still. I mean, So technology has progressed. Accessibility has progressed because there's more of us, and there's less of them. And there's a lot of things that you can say why Black people are doing better now, but you still have no power. What's better? What's better, power or you look good? Power or you got a house and your kids go to a good school, but then they grow up and they have no power. But they look good and they went to a great school. And I'm not belittling that.
Right.
I'm just saying, if we want to go further, we have got to start looking further. We have got to stop paying so much attention to ourselves and how we look and how we compare to one another, and start looking how we compare collectively as Black people.
Deborah Smith just said politicians understand organized people and organized money.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think it's hard for let me see how to tailor this. Okay. Black people to understand politics, because we have spent so much time in the church away from politics, and other areas are far away from us. So really help us to understand. I know in these little 8 minutes you can't, 7 minutes that you can't, but I want people to really see, if we really get behind PAC, that is the voice that we need to help us further our agendas.
So first, I don't think that we've been far away from politics, because while we were at church, Black men were still getting arrested and beaten on the streets.
Oh, okay, I love it.
So while we were at church, the potholes in our neighborhood were still worse than the potholes across the tracks.
I love it. I love it.
So we weren't away from politics. It's happened to us all the time, forever and a day. I mean, we live it. It's set up against us. So we are always in politics.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
So you just don't pay attention to it.
That's it. That's it.
So you just don't recognize it, or you ignore it because you don't think you can change it. Or you ignore it because, the system is not set up for you to really figure it out or to understand it.
That's it.
Civics is like now half like one semester. It's not even a full it's not even a full cycle. Right. So it's really designed for you not to know, but you know.
You see it.
You can see it. Just stop focusing so much on trying to live better than somebody else and figure out how to connect the dots.
Goodness gracious.
Well,
we only have.
Can you really tell us about how to give, and is Act Blue a part of transferring money to your PAC?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me just say,
and as you answered that, to put this on the back end from Ms. Wallace, how can a candidate get promoted by the Black Women's PAC? If you can answer all of that for us in about 4 minutes.
I can. Okay, so first of all, here's the vision for the Black Women's PAC again, and I'm gonna cut it all up to everything I said. We want to be a powerhouse that if you come for a Black woman, if you come for one of our allies, we come for you. And we have the cash, the backing, the resources, we have the organization, we have it to do that. That is the point. It's political power. So if you give to the Black Women's PAC, you are giving to making something happen in the political atmosphere. So it will be either helping a candidate, it will be making sure that people know who is on the ballot. It is phone calls that go out into an area that has a problem, or that there's some kind of agitation going on between two candidates and somebody needs to be supported. The PAC becomes a collective pot of money that says, okay, we're going to disseminate out into this space. And we're going to help this person. We're going to help this person. Or we're going to say, voting counts in this area. We're going to encourage voter turnout and that kind of thing.
Hello.
How do you give to the Black Women's PAC? Yes, Act Blue is part of the Black. That's where our funding goes through Act Blue. So
Okay.
you go through the website. You can go to the Act Blue directory and put in Black Women's PAC. It will come up. All of that. Let me see. Somebody said on your feed too that we need to be more like the Jews. Okay, so I'm not going to say that. That's not the words, but I understand your meaning. And yes, so when we're in Black Restaurant Week right now, how many of us are really going to Black restaurants and actually buying Black food? When we start talking about, have you seen Killer Mike's special where he tried to do something all Black one day and he ended up buying a used bicycle because he couldn't buy a car? Because he couldn't go to a Black grocery store. All they had was canned foods, and he could only buy beans and canned products because there was no Black grocery store.
Right.
That's what we're talking. That's what you say when you start talking about political power. When you start talking about this is the 99th anniversary for Black Wall Street. What are we going to be doing on the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street? Where are we going to be? So now the conversation is that Black women are the largest number of small business owners or that kind of thing. Our business is a one person. That's not a business. That's a hustle you made legal. So, and that's no insult. No insult. No insult. No insult at all.
You are my kind of girl, Tracy.
But it's true. Because a business has employees, a business has health insurance, a business has a location. A business has, ongoing customers that you actually can attend to, and that is what that's what you make your livelihood off of. So if we want to scale, if we want to have a business that has employees and healthcare, and we need to start focusing on that. That then is a vendor that then buys from other Black resources to fund our, we need to be buying from Black vendors. If you have a Black business, why we don't have a Cisco? We don't have Black-owned grocery stores. Where they at? When we start talking about, really putting our mind to it and really start thinking about what Black Wall Street was, we need to get back. Because as long as we keep spending money across the water, where is our money going? The community center about to close down in your neighborhood, ain't it?
Oh, wow.
Did you get the home loan that you needed to get to? Did you have the money? Did you have the down payment? Did you lose your home in the housing crisis? I mean, we really have got to look at our lives, and we have really got to start paying attention to what's happening politically and who's in office. How is this legislation being drafted? Are we being considered? And what is the compromise? Because we're not always going to get our way, but somebody got to be smart enough in the room to make the compromise. And they got to tell you what the compromise is. So we really need a better understanding of how elected officials connect to our life as well. So again, when Junior gets arrested, we're talking about the police officer. We're talking about the police chief. We're talking about the DA. We're talking about the district attorney. We're talking about the prosecutor. We're talking about everybody. Who did you go before? What judge did you go before in court? Okay, I know we're out of time. I just want you to look that judge up, and I want you to know, did you vote for that judge? Do you know who that judge is? And when you go to the ballot box the next time, who are you going to vote for?
Wow. Ms. Scott, I wish we had more time. This has
I thank you so much. Y'all don't know I said so many things that I've wanted to say for so long. I really appreciate this. I really do.
Wow.
I honestly do. My heart, I promise. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you for
yes,
being
yes.
with us on today. Those of you in Texas, in Dallas area, we have a primary that's coming up in just a few weeks. Be
Yes.
informed about your candidate. You see the web address on here for the Black Women's PAC. Be a part of a change that you want to see make a difference. All
Yes.
right. Thank
July
you all.
14th runoff. Mhm.
Buy black, buy black,
Bye,
buy
Black.
black.
Bye,
And
Black.
Juneteenth is this week.
Juneteenth.
Yes.
So until next week, we'll see you next week, same time on Timely Wisdom.
Bless you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.